Throughout Tucson, Arizona, you'll find several shelters like this one in an old monastery used for illegal immigrants apprehended at the border. Tucson City Council member Steve Kozachik says more than 7,000 have come and gone since January. With a few exceptions, Kozachik says nonprofit and faith-based community organizations have footed the bill for housing, food, and more, not the city or the county.
The community's dealing with it. This is not a government operation. Everything that we have here in this monastery has been donated by residents of this community and nonprofits and NGOs.
A big exception came over Easter weekend when the shelters couldn't handle a massive influx of asylum seekers all at once. County Administrator Chuck Huckleberry says they had to open up a pop-up shelter at a rec center that weekend. That, he says, was created by government employees, so tax dollars were used.
They just can't be out on the streets as vagrants.
Although county and city leaders say much of the support is coming from faith-based and community service organizations, we asked them the question, what happens if and when that support runs out?
We want to keep our community whole financially. At the same time, we recognize that we can't not bring a response because that could ultimately cost the community more.
Mayor Jonathan Rothschild says while other cities have declared a state of emergency, that isn't something on his radar.
In studying it, we're not sure that there's any benefit to it, quite frankly.
The county's Board of Supervisors here voted to accept a federal grant of around $1.2 million intended for border security. The grant is a part of the Operation Stone Garden program, a FEMA grant that goes through congressional appropriations. But to get the money, the county set a condition. $200,000 of that federal money must be used to help the nonprofits currently bearing the weight of the situation. A late 2018 bulletin allows for expanded use of these federal funds, including for costs associated with humanitarian relief.
We've made that request because that nonprofit community cannot sustain itself on donations alone. When they're stressed, what that means is it lessens our ability to respond to any other disaster or emergency.
Back inside the shelter, Kozachik says federal money will help alleviate much of the stress on the community.
Start some flow through of federal dollars so that everything that you see here is not coming off the backs of the citizens.
In Tucson, I'm Max Darrow.